After a brief intermission, we are back not only with Element 1, but also with Wildcard's second game, despite this being their third best of one. Connor, at least scheduled. Of course, I'm Lynx, joined by CDAPS. And like I just mentioned, JJ and their gang, they had a forfeit victory last week as Chunner could not field a roster. But now, they're back from their break, going up against one of the other seemingly top teams coming into Element 1.
This makes me so happy because one of my favorite matchups to watch is a strong IGL matchup. And this is none other than JJ Blastful, the self-appointed deputy, against Bio, who's been around the block and done so well. And I'm excited, Carter.
JJ even changed his name to the deputy in-game. He's never gone that far before. He has never fully embraced the persona quite like he has into at least Element 1 right now. So, we don't have time to unpack all of that, so just take that as you will. Of course, you can see this in their history. As I mentioned, their one victory so far was from a forfeit, as Chalet Esports could not field the roster, whereas before that, they lost a game to Slate, which I believe, Connor, if you correct me if I'm wrong, they had the lead at one point, and then it slowly slipped away until we had a 7-4 victory to finish off.
Yep, and we were talking so much about how Outlast's very close game against SSG Academy, and even though it was a loss, was aging like a fine wine. Week to week, a loss to Slate, it's doing the complete opposite.
Now, to be fair, the second team they played was Triple G. Probably one of the teams that's slated to win Grand Finals, sure, but still, as you said, a 7-2 loss to Triple G, especially going to a map like Bank against them. A lot of question marks coming out of that Slate game, and still some things we have to consider since Wildcard Aces did drop that map, that Cafe game to Slate. But let's talk about them. Let's talk about what Wildcard do have to offer. As you said, Connor, this is a game of IGLs, the JJ Blastful, the Deputy, versus Biologic, New Blood. Well, New Blood, but who's been grinding at it for a long time, whereas Old Blood, who's been around for a long time. Wildcard Aces are representing that new spirit and the people that haven't always made the cross the line into tier 2. You can say that.
Yeah, they've been just a bubble team for so incredibly long, and the majority of this roster has been together for, I'd almost say, like at least 7-8 months, which in terms of T3, when they weren't T2 yet, is very, very impressive.
It's a very long time, especially in North America, which tends to have some pretty volatile rosters that will only last a few months or one league. It's very impressive. But in terms of their highlights, we can talk about some things, right?
There's lowlights.
There are lowlights. We can get to that. 75% entry conversion percentage on the defense, 0% on the attack because they don't have a single attacking entry. Connor, all of that is like not great. We also have to remember they played one game, one best of one that they lost 4-7. The stats are not going to be good. They're just not going to be that good.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, JJ right now against Biologic is searching for his first tier 2 actual victory.
Yes, that is true. Well, I mean, we are in an actual tier 2 league. Would you not? Oh, wait. They lost to Slate. Crap! I tried my best.
See? They just got a forfeit victory because, unfortunately, some players had to work IRL jobs.
Unlucky. It happens.
I think, unfortunately, Sinvale would have absolutely cleared JJ, too, if they played.
I had Chunner predicted. I had them predicted, mostly for the comedic factor. But to go to the other team we have playing right now, a bit more tenured, not only pound for pound, player by player, though with a few notable exceptions, but also as a roster as well. Benz and Arrow been together a long time. Bio generally been adjacent to players like Arrow for a long time as well. Though Sneeze and Snoopy are newer introductions to this core, which itself pales in comparison to the length of time the Wildcard Aces have been together.
Oh yeah, but we were talking about how Bio has been around the clock and around the block. Unfortunately, Arrow will not be playing in this match. Instead, in his place will be another player who has been with Bio for so incredibly long, Carter. Rudy's coming in.
The Rudy Masterclass?
Oh yeah, Rudy Cat, baby.
All right, well, this is... Honestly, here's the thing, right? Is like, going into today, normally I'd be like, oh no, they're playing with this sub. Arrow didn't have like the best stats, but he's also playing like Hibana. And Arrow isn't Arrow's not a big entry player. Honestly, when Arrow was in his heyday, he was getting like big entries or big kills, but with like 45 seconds or 30 seconds left in the round on operators like Maverick, like Hibana. So Rudy, who does play a similar role in a similar playstyle at times, I imagine will fit right in, especially with the cohesion, the synergy, the vibes that him and Bio share. They might not have the best stats and say like total entry engagements or attacking and conversion percentage, but like, come on. These are players that, unfortunately for Wildcard Aces, do have a bit more of a respect to them and also at least have an actual victory under their belt.
Yeah, and if you look at the bottom of the screen, third place in average attacking entry and top in the defense entry. You might think that Bio and maybe even Rudy, they're old players, but they've still got some spring in their step, and they're playing a nice athletic, high-octane level of Siege that goes fast.
And want to throw up which players we're highlighting from each team. Of course, it's actually a little bit flipped on its head than we might otherwise expect, because normally we highlight two players who are doing extremely well, but right now, two players who aren't having as great of a time, specifically the entries. Wildcard Aces is always a bit weird because, especially right now, just because they've only played one game, 5 and 9, those are the stats you're only going to get from one kind of game. But Sneeze, who's played in 2, minus on the entry, but also 13 and 1 of those kills as well, though, with 19% of his deaths traded. There are still one entry on each team, Connor, who's kind of performing well, but one entry as well, who's definitely a weak point.
Yeah, and with Wildcard Aces struggling so much on the attacking side and on the attacking entry side, it's just not looking too good, especially because, let's say that one entry death on the side of Riot, it didn't get traded at all because he's not had a single death traded. And sure, overall, I already said that league-wide, it is a lot lower than expected, only at about 20%, but 0%, that's still definitely a red flag.
And of course, I want to talk about what maps we could potentially go to. Maps where you need to make sure that those entries are on point, that you need to acquire that map control. Bank, for example, is a big one, but that's banned out by Osiris. We have maps that are remaining in the pool. I mean, what do we got left? We got Chalet, we got Border especially, though it's banned now, does require a lot of good map control. I mean, Connor, these entries need to be on point, especially if you want to win some attacks.
I really expected Oregon to be played, especially when Wildcard Aces just kind of dangled it in front of Bio, where they did look pretty dang good in that old school matchup, the old IF special that we saw Osiris versus Carry the Boats, but instead we're going to Chalet. Wildcards, so far, we've only seen them on Cafe, and it didn't look pretty, especially on the attacking side. That's seemingly where they lost the game. Now as you transition towards Chalet, attacks are definitely a lot easier, but everybody except Crow and Fellow do seem to be rocking the Bio train.
And I think there is a little bit of a point there. I mean, Osiris, they have a history on Chalet and Element 1. They've played it a decent amount. They're comfortable with it in their map ban phases. So this is a map that, especially with the results that they've had, should be okay. But again, that one victory over Carry the Boats, we really need to look to that elimination game to see how well it's going to age, see if maybe Carry the Boats are better in best of 3s. And then we can say, okay, that big 7-5 day 1 victory over Carry the Boats, excellent work. Community prediction. Oddly enough, split with the casters, 52% in favor of Wildcard Aces. I gotta say, with the names that are on Osiris, I'm kind of surprised by that.
I think this is by far the closest community vote that we've had, right?
I mean, I've been kept track of each one, but you don't get a lot.
Like, they're at least like 70-30. We see some 90-10s going, 52-48. That is incredibly close, and maybe the map ban, or pardon me, the operator ban phase can kind of lay towards the tempo of this overall game, but seemingly with how more slow Wildcard have played, their kind of tempo overall is going to have to be elevated against this super fast-paced roster of Osiris, especially when you have Bio, who has had a lot of historic strength on this map of Chalet. Being aggressive almost kind of worries me.
Ban phase has concluded. You worried about aggression? Not having that Ying will certainly make it a little harder to manifest. No longer those Candelas, but most of the damage done in the ban phase, as you are not really shocked to find out, is to that utility. Zombie Fenrir off the board, of course. Nobody surprised by that. But the floor has gone on the attack. That's that's a bit of an uncomfortable position. You don't have those Rotero drones to deal with the library shield or the mezzanine shield anymore. Doesn't necessitate a mute pick from the defense. That's a sizable bit of Wildcard Ace's utility that they won't have to deal with, or they won't have anymore. But of course, they're the ones who banned it, so you can reasonably assume, Connor, they probably have practiced without a Flores, and they know how to clear these shields without a Rotero drone. They can use those frag grenades. They can hack those ADSs or magnets, in this case, with a clutch drone to bypass them entirely and land one teensy little grenade or ash charge or Gone 6 or something like that, and we won't have anything to worry about.
See, do you know, there's one way I'm thinking of clearing a shield that has been left up by the attackers, and it's aggressively crouch walking at it with a knock.
Ooh, that's a fair point. See, I didn't consider that. And I don't think Wildcard Aces did either, but I didn't consider that.
Especially when JJ, traditionally a hard breach IGL, is on the Finca.
He's got that dog in him.
He does.
He's got some fight left.
He's trying to turn back the tide, even though he's like 18, 19 years old. You know, he's trying to live in his prime, but more so than anything, it's just a very aggressive attacking composition from Wildcard Aces, which does kind of put my mind at ease for the initial worries so far. Right now, from Osiris, they have a pretty bog standard setup. It's what we would expect to see on a Bar Games defense. A little bit of mezzanine shields, a little bit of initial roam presence on the top floor, the Mira windows making it hard to aggressively go in towards the library, as well as just more reinforcements kind of sprawled all over the map, where it makes it hard for somebody like Wildcard Aces to really get in the building in a super comfortable way and not feel pressure with how worrisome their attacking entry has looked.
I will say the lack of nades for Wildcard Aces and lack of explosive utility in general, maybe to deal with those shields or to make clearing those mirror windows easier, that could be a bit of a problem. But Bio, you talked about, can get aggressive on Chalet. He's found out very quickly the drone Z ping him and through a soft wall. That's an easy pre-fire for Twizzler to land. All that Frost utility, of course, already placed. Don't have to worry about losing any. As Wildcard Aces creep closer to clearing out this library position, that's a player that maybe can't hold main lobby anymore, can't contest blue stairs. It just reduces the amount of positions you can play. Snoopy also, as the Aruna Gate is burned next to him, he's got to fall back soon. However, over half the round now gone. And what am I saying, Connor? We have no frag grenades. We have no Capital bolts. What exactly are they going to clear that library position with?
They're going to have to throw bodies at it, which thankfully they have the man advantage. First attacking entry, by the way, for Wildcard Aces as the Adrenal Surge floods through. Rise down below, and it seems like he might have hit an absolutely great timing as Riot falls up above.
Bri might just have it. Nobody in stock? What are we doing? Nobody's in the site whatsoever! Everybody's vacated the premises. The Rudy fights back, and man advantage is in the favor of Osiris. They've got vertical control too, but Bri's got this mirror window. Anybody drops the hatch, they're done for. Vito can cut this off as well, though the mirror just barely creeps by. Still right for Bri's G36. Osiris somehow still hold the man advantage. Bri can get flanked, he can get wrapped around. He's got to deal with this hard breach hole made in the wall, but trades are just going Osiris's way. They can land a diffuser now. Everybody whiffing. Beto goes down. How in the hell did Osiris retake that with not a single body in the site?
Rudy Cat difference. The Rudy differential.
Maybe?
For me, this almost seemed like the execute was very well baited by the side of Osiris's defense. What seemed to be a proper read seemed like so enticing for somebody like JJ to see of, hey, we can hit the site. They have a amazing hole that we can exploit in this defense. And all of a sudden, it was just an activated trap card from Osiris. They still had all the necessary ways to retake the site as they played together and looked so dang good while doing it.
It definitely was still cobbled together in some ways. I mean, you still have the control of that mirror window handed to the attack. That's such a powerful position for Bri to have. But they do coordinate that retake enough that using angles either made by the defense or made by the attack, they're able to play their trades and play that man advantage. But it might just come back to the Rudy diff, Connor, because it was a 4v4, starting as a 4v5, favoring Wildcard Aces, and they were able to even it up, and then Rudy's able to turn the advantage to their favor with the second kill of the round, making it a 4v3, and at that point, the retake is a little bit easier because you can play somebody's contact, you can play trades in the man advantage, and it gives Osiris a round that even if they planned for it, the utility they gave the attack definitely helped quite a bit. Now, moving over to Kitchen and Dining, we'll still have to see some presence on that top floor, just like we saw in Bar and Games.
Yeah, and hopefully for Bio's sake, he's not just going to fall immediately, where if you make Wildcard Aces fight for the opening pick a little bit more, that seems to be their massive weakness, instead of just looking the wrong way, unfortunately, as your triple drone downstairs in basement. But now, as things stand, seems to be a little bit of a solar take, something that me and you are always a fan of, as Rudy is going to be playing down below, a little bit lower than you would expect. Typically, they're playing on that platform on the staircase, and Bino is already cutting this entirety of Trophy in half.
And that's the issue. If they just drone this out, there are still players who can contest, like Fens or Sneeze, but Rudy can't play that position directly. If Fens or Sneeze falls, they might just be able to repel into Solar, but with a big C4 to start from Snoopy. Twizzler gone very quickly. The flashes fly in. The nade, too. That's exactly what Wildcard Aces do. Burn the utility, throw in a nade. Now time to deal with the other player. Pushed aggressively. Only one on the top floor remaining. They droned this out. They realize that nobody's in Master Bedroom or Office. There's only one player on Piano. They can pinch this guy, take vertical control for free. There's one player off the site as well. Somebody from Osiris in the win. That's Biologic, but he's a world away. They've now got a kill on the site, too. Wildcard Aces have so much control and so much of an advantage going their way, and now they know there's a roamer all the way inside of Narnia, inside of the building. Sneeze down now. Snoopy, the only one actually on the site. A nade, but improperly cooked, lands at his feet. He'll back off soon after. But Bio's got to rotate back as soon as he can because Wildcard Aces, they're ready to hit the execute.
Yeah, and with Chalet, as soon as you can get some initial pressure, it steamrolls. It's like a boulder running down a mountain. And so far for Wildcard Aces, they seem to have the right path for their aggression to go forward. It's going to require somebody on Osiris to make something happen. So far, it's been Snoopy, but he still has a lot of work to do. And with an SMG-11, he's the only one that doesn't have low HP, as Bio's only about on 40.
One right next to him as well. JJ opening up that window, looking to open the second too. Bio inside of West Main in dangerous position of getting pinched. Too many angles to worry about. He falters completely. Now Snoopy's got to do all the work himself. Knows one position's in back. Trophy knows another inside. But again, same problem as Bio. Too many angles to deal with. Too many things to think about. Wildcard answer back with a round of their own.
Yep, and that's what you expect. Chalet attacks, they're one of the easier attacks in the entirety of the game, but they still have to be well worked, and pretty much everything on the checklist for Wildcard's attacks was ticked off. They got some vertical pressure. They were able to, that nade over towards Master Door was probably the most impactful thing that we saw on that initial roam clear, where sure, a lot of the other kind of plays were Osiris trying to fight back for a little bit of the man advantage, to just put the pressure back, getting active, going to try to hit a lick where Wildcard Aces read it properly. But as soon as that first nade went down, Sneeze, he really didn't have anywhere to go. There was no longer that duo to play off of where Master Bedroom could be cut, and he didn't have to worry about things like Piano wraparound too. At the end of the day, it was just kind of a sitting dead duck. The site hit that we didn't necessarily see seemed to have been some over-aggression inside of Trophy, punished out by one of the player on the piano, or on the window, which would have been Bino. So if some of those issues could be fixed, maybe for Osiris, they could bounce back. But at the end of the day, just really well executed by the Aces.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
We'll move Osiris to Master Bedroom and Office. Not wanting to redo Kitchen and Dining after their upstairs hold is effectively just dismantled at every single aspect. Solus on the board, that'll lend very well to Biologic's playstyle, but also force many of Wildcard Ace's drones outside of the building for fear of losing it early on. This will be the time for Bio to maybe go drone hunting, spot some utility, but again, puts him very isolated from the rest of his team. And in round one, he was dealt with very quickly. The opening pick, just with some drones sent downstairs and a Z-ping, and it was wraps for him. Gotta make sure, especially with that scanner, the Specchio, make sure that he's not droned very early on and taken down.
Yeah, honestly, kind of surprised that it's until round 3 that we're seeing the Solus come out from Bio. Seems to be an operator made for him, but instead the bullets from the Deputy seem to have been marked right into Bio's body as he falls 0-3. Also not able to fell Riot, leaving him on just a sliver of HP, just like Fens. over towards these back solar stairs. Another nade's coming in as the timing doesn't quite work out. Another pick comes as Twizzler drops Rudy, Cat, Sneeze. He's going to go for 2, however, and make things a lot better off of seemingly a run out.
Just runs out of the big garage. Wildcard Aces aren't daunted. They'll throw the lifeline in. Attackers starting to enter the building. Oh, Snoopy cut down from the half-wall angle. And they know that Sneeze is down below, though he's going for an extremely long rotate. And Bino thinks he's cutting it off, thinks he's going up West Main, and that patience might end up costing him. Though he makes a sound cue over on Library Stairs. They know he's over by that area now. He'll go for the second run out, go for the long one on Master Bedroom. Gets the trade, but Twizzler with a beautiful headshot stops any big second run out for Osiris.
And here it comes.
There it is.
JJ in chat has popped off. He's talking to his elders. There's no respect on the elders. And if there is a single moment that could define a career, it could be right now. It would seemingly be so funny if we could just put a little bit of Curb Your Enthusiasm over a zoom in on that, and then a quick flash to the end of the game scoreline.
I mean, the Wildcard Aces attacks, they've looked decent so far, but also that Osiris have had a very glaring weak point in most of their rounds, which has been 2 out of the 3 so far. Bio on the roam has been dealt with very, very quickly. And that might not necessarily be an individual failing. The positions he's playing are very far away from the rest of his team, very reliant on big individual plays, and 1, Bio just isn't that kind of player, but 2, that position, it's not giving you a lot to deal with. And if you're facing a team who is very quick to get people inside of the building or inside of positions to cut you off or deal with you, you're basically giving them a free opening pick. So shifting the Solus over to Sneeze, who's the top performer so far, but also maybe making sure that that player's in a spot where they can rotate back a bit quicker, a bit faster than otherwise. Wildcard Aces won't have that same easy opening they've had in most of these rounds so far.
Seems to want to peek aggressively, and no, those bullets did not come from the sniper tower, instead right down below it. But Sneeze is in a quite precarious situation, still trying to get this opening pick, staring at the window, but doesn't seem like anybody on the Aces want to feed away their lives so far. And maybe Sneeze can just start drone hunting once again. For the Aces, they're now going back towards attacking a bomb site that they've seen, which is now where the real mini games start to go down. This is where the IGL adjustments meet the IGL adjustments, where seemingly Wildcard Aces took the bait of what Osiris wanted them to do. They wanted to play for that retake scenario, give them the bomb site, and then flood back and collapse on it. I don't necessarily think the Wildcard Aces are going to try to fall into that trap once again.
Doesn't look like it. They're very focused on bathroom. Not trying to lurk down below. Osiris have held the master bedroom side of the map for a long time. They've now rotated Sneeze down below, whereas Bio holds this part of the map now. We'll see what Sneeze has planned, but the utility work for Wildcard Aces over by Library so far working out. They've destroyed the top Mez shield. Status of the blue shield, not even a factor. It's not brought this time. So a lot of utility work done, throwing these grenades, but not careful enough with these magnets. It's the bullets instead that do the talking. With no top blue shield, they can take the stairs very easily, and there's still 1 defender left inside a library. Twizzler has even worked his way back into the position that the Aces were in before, but Sneeze accounts for it. Sneeze has rotated up main stairs, is seeing if anybody lurks around fireplace. They'll use smoke to cover the dining angle, but that's when Rudy swings, that's when he peeks, and that's when Twizzler is caught completely off guard. Now the Wildcard Aces attack isn't as solid. Thought they might have an idea, but Snoopy goes big, takes down Riot as he hops in. It's all very individual now from Wildcard Aces. Osiris have their map control in hand. JJ still trapped upstairs, knows someone is in that library corner, spots the Jaeger for just a second, isn't able to land not just 1, but 2 sprays. Make that 3. Can he go for 4? Able to land the crosshair placement. Push it back to a 3-3. Bio 1 bullet away from death, and another known inside of stock. 2 easy opportunities to get a man advantage. Bry goes for broke, makes the push. It's a 3v1 right here with Bio only 1 HP. He's far off of the site too. It's in the hands of Wildcard Aces, and once they wrap around or just hold the angle, it's 3-1.
Yeah, now you really feel like the Mira could have been so incredibly impactful because that kill onto supply was just sealing the fate of the defense where there's not really much you could do. Bio had very little HP. He was playing off site. He was playing deep, and everything went down.
10 seconds.
Let me get my bomb. Let's go, JJ.
And JJ continues to pop off.
Positive vibes. Positive vibes in the paddocks.
Attackers need to locate
I
and
can
defuse
appreciate
bomb.
that. Well, now the one site that Osiris has won has not gone their way. They'll go to the fourth site, actually. I almost said third. They've gone to all 4 sites now. Office, dining, bar, and now basement. This one very reliant on maintaining some of that off-site presence, holding the dining hatch, or just keeping a couple roamers moving around, forcing the attack to think about it, to constantly worry about it. So some of that solo play that has gotten Osiris picked off early, now it's almost a necessity, and a necessity that it'll work as well. Whereas Wildcard Aces, gotta say, entries have been decent so far. For Chalet attack, maybe, but still, pretty decent to stack up to Osiris' defenses.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Wildcard Aces have been in the lab. You know, when you have essentially a bye week, you really can focus in on the efforts of what your issues were and those attacking issues. Maybe it's indicative of the map choice where, you know, cafe attacking entries are a lot more difficult to come by than something like Chalet, which a lot of the time you can get from exterior windows and just completely pinching out with utility to a point where the defenders have absolutely nothing that they can do. But you can also just shove your face in a Maverick hole and get it taken off immediately, taking down the execute win condition seemingly in conjunction with those Osa shields. No Capital bolts.
Nope. No fire, no smoke. Maybe a run out? Only maybe. No yes. Sneeze just impacts the window, then backs off almost immediately after. Difficult position right now. Losing that Capital on the Maverick. They've dedicated the Osa to the backside push, who now will just hold the entirety of the bomb site. That pillar position now isolated to the left side. Bri fights back. Bio now down. 0-5 game from Bio so far. On the roams or on the aggressive positions, not working out. Wildcard Aces, that's honestly bonus at the moment. Because if they could just deal with Snoopy on that pillar, it seems like the site might just be open. Sneeze wraps around. There's a Maverick watching. JJ gets him. Never mind! JJ whiffs! There's still another that Sneeze might take. Now the advantage too. The site presence dealt with. Sneeze just decides it's not worth it. I'll just hold West Main stairs. There might be still one on the top floor, but I don't even need to kill him to win the round.
Yeah, all of a sudden, a situation that looked so good for the Aces continues to go down as Bino falls into a frost mat. He's going to be such low HP for the rest of this round. A Nitro cell from Snoopy could go absolutely huge, as well as Sneeze, which would make sense because he's right here. He's going to spray. Bri's also 1 HP now, as it's just for Bino by himself. 50 seconds, no HP to work with. An impact nade will send him to his grave. Any bullets from a variety of the weapons on the defensive side will mark his death, and he's peeking his own bit of utility. Sneeze has commandeered the Talon shield, and it's gonna force a rotation. He can just go to the other side of it.
Hey, he's got another Talon shield, though. Think about this, okay? He peeks the hallway. He's got the shield. Backs off very quickly.
Oh.
Now this is crazy. I don't, like, what do you even do here? Like, genuinely, what do you do?
You cry. And you die.
Alright, did we need a question mark that? What the hell was he supposed to do? There were no good options. Either he swings in the middle of a crossfire or he peeks your Osa shield. Like, not much you could do. Not much you could do.
Shout out to R6 Sneeze. Absolutely playing his heart out right now to get rounds for the side of Osiris. Both rounds that they've been successful on the defense are on the back of his heroics. The 2K in conjunction with Rudy on the retake in round 1. And now a huge flank as soon as he got the P90 in his hands, taking down the deputy, who's probably really regretting some of the choice words he was saying because absolute whiff was right in the cards for him.
Cyrus got 2 defenses as well. Decent numbers so far. Not earth-shattering, but definitely nothing to frown about. especially if you got your attacks in good affairs. Fortunately, they have to go to a site they have not won so far for their final attempt at a defense. Dining, where the upstairs hold was very, very swiftly dealt with the addition of a couple on-site picks from Wildcard Aces as well. Definitely need to see some better positioning from Osiris. Maybe Rudy contest the windows a little bit more heavily, as he was just automatically cut off in the trophy angle before. Nobody was even really dealing with the solar pressure. It was just kind of maybe a phantom position, and maybe that's the idea. But then you really got to make sure that Fens and Sneeze survive or get a kill before they fall back.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you've got to at least make the attack pay for that crucial bit of map control, whether it be blood, whether it be time. But last time we saw this bomb site, it was neither. There wasn't really any kills going the way of Osiris's defense until the run out from below occurred, and then the time just kind of was fast. It took him like a minute to get it. So if any adjustments come through on the side of Osiris, I would like to see either a bit more aggression in that area or just more phantom pressure without sacrificing players. Also, there's a giant glaring one, which would be the Nitro Cell going, and Snoopy hits another one onto the same player of Twizzler 2 times in a row, as well as I would like to see one person in this lobby get a kill, and that is Biologic.
And that is true. The same C4 does another player in for Wildcard Aces. Brutal, unfortunately, but even then, Sneeze was dealt with, and Fens was dealt with very soon after, but there's Bios first. The run out works, the angle too! Osiris in a prime position, even at 3-3, with Sneeze even getting in on the action. Bino runs in through Biologic's own impact hole, made in the garage wall. In a 1v5, you hear one stomping around up above, almost baiting him, tempting him, but the nade goes wide. There's only one left. No drones to work with, just a Yana clone, whatever his teammate has. Bio looking for 2 now, as the Yana is walking directly into his crosshairs. Knows he's there. Bio toying with his food, but unfortunately plays a little too rough. Another one looking down through the floor. Doesn't go Bino's way. Alright, I can only do so much. Is Bino gonna push? Is he not? Is he gonna stay?
At the end of the day, Carter, all that matters is Bio killed the deputy.
He did. And
that
Bino,
was a nasty shot on defense.
It was. Bino fighting back, but there's a shotgun just close around the corner. Only did a shockingly small amount of damage to Bino. Snoopy's now backed off from the angle, but there's somebody else covering it. And now, likely the finisher. No! Nobody finishes him off. Not just yet. Are we going to peek him again on this angle? I think he expects it, guys. Just play the time. No need to peek. Just play the time.
This is where I wish we had the Outlast comms where they're just doing the carnival music again.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Finally.
I admire the attempt at least, but that 1v5 lasted a very long time.
Yeah. I'm just sitting there thinking like do 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 do. Just there was a monkey with the cymbals just clapping in my brain because I didn't know what else to think about. Or it was just a 1v5, everybody's just like slowly peeking them, and it's like a minute of just seemingly nothing occurring. But at the end of the day, 3-3 split for Osiris on defense, I think that's pretty dang good, Carter.
Not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, hey, Wildcard Aces did get some attacking entries this time. They at least boosted those stats. We can be happy about that. But to see how their defense is fair. Osiris have a lot of tools at their disposal for how they want to play. We've got the Nook available. Sure, we've lost the Flores, which is Bio's favorite operator, at least inside of Element 1 so far. So some damage done to the utility. But a lot of different options available. Like, for example, just going to draw out the words to make sure he doesn't pick off of it for as long as possible. Bio might play the Monty, unless they see something they do not like in the next 10 seconds. Emphasizing or signaling maybe a direct take. Maybe not going for wide, expansive map control. Or hell, maybe they'll just sit someone outside a piano hall staring at the blue shield for 2.5 minutes. I've seen crazier.
Yeah, it definitely could happen, but, you know, when Bio's not shooting, I'm sure that we can sit here and say, if we had the listen-ins on them, I'm sure throughout the round he's calling all of these things. And when you're not shooting, why not just bring a shield? Just sit there and still command the team and take some attention away from the rest of your players and allow somebody like Sneeze to just pop off continuously. Be the enabler.
Ends might just enable some team play, unfortunately for him. Nothing to be made in that long wall. He can open up the heaven balcony at least and just immediately push the mezzanine shield. Flashbangs go in. Riot revives himself. Oh, does he know? There we go. Realize it just at the last second. The looks away right as the stim pistol is aimed toward Riot's arm to get him back in the fight. Blue shield now destroyed as well. Forces Bry back. This is a very swift capture of control for Osiris. Ben's even cut someone down on the flank. Wildcard Aces suffer immense losses, all at the hands of an L85. The Monty fills the gap the moment it's left. Walks down blue stairs, and he's got an open view of Bird's Nest down into the rest of the site to walk. They've still got time to go for this vertical control.
Yep, a lot of time to work with for Osiris, as another one of the chat messages of, is it meta to not have a shield on blue? Question mark does come through, as Wildcard, just the entire top floor control fell at the hands of one man, and that was Fens. But as one kill is knocked back, it's a lot of damage on Bry in return. No nitro cells in the back pocket of the defense, and now no man besides Bino left alive with a minute to try to make some magic happen, as now his entire HP is going down. He's tossing a smoke grenade. Poor Monty is about to come at him as the utility is just flooding the supply closet, and he's probably not long for this world.
No, he's not, though. He does get Rudy on the way out. Can almost pick up the Monty if he was just not so overwhelmed, so overstimulated. They'll take down the muted drone. Look for the angle onto the feet. There's so many players ready to peek. Bio can even call it. He's not looking at you. Just swing, sneeze. And indeed, he does. Osiris grab the lead for the first time in this game.
See? That's what I was saying.
Second time.
I said it. That Bio just needs to be the facilitator for somebody like Sneeze. He sat there and was just yellow pinging and got Sneeze a kill. That's what we were talking about.
He's just sitting there. He's like, hey, just swing. It's all good. And I mean, you want to talk about what happened in that round?
Fens found a hole and
Yeah.
absolutely destroyed the defense on it. A really big oversight of seemingly thinking that reinforcing two of those walls on the quad 90 bin of Office would completely shut down any take from that side, where seemingly Riot should have heard that sledgehammer. He definitely should have, but there was just so much stimulus coming through. In conjunction to the Lion EE1D was exactly when Fens struck. Really well orchestrated, a lot of pressure over towards the Ivy windows as well, drawing the attention away. Created the perfect storm for Fens to drop an absolute tornado on the defense.
It was a very well thought out execute. Make use of the absence of the Flores to bring a hell of a lot of flashes. Not even worry about necessarily destroying shields, which they still did by taking down the top blue shield. Just immediately deal with Riot. So confident in his ability to stim and revive himself. That perhaps served as his weakness. Now, Wildcard Aces shift to dining, their second attempt at a defense. And we pretty much know Osiris' game plan based off their operator selection. When you see that Thermite Osa combo, they are opening up the dining wall, and they are sitting Talon Shields and Fireplace to cover anybody who moves in to get the bomb down.
Well, Carter, last time we saw this comp...
No.
Last time
I don't
we
wanna
saw
hear
this
it.
comp, there
I don't wanna
was
hear it.
an absolutely thrown round on the side of Outlast that could have won them the game in regulation. Because they didn't open up the breach, and then they lost. So hopefully Osiris are a little bit smarter. The age comes, or the wisdom comes with their age. Bio and Rudy kind of just doing what they should on that utility. Those are the two players that should know how to do this. As Fens hits another devious lick once again to get the opener.
I mean, if you have the shield that far out in the piano hall and you're playing right on it, that's a risk. If you're playing that far out, that's a risk inherent in the position. Thankfully, they fight back and they get an equally impactful operator. Sure, you lose that MPX 1.5, those glasses, but now the attack has lost their Dokkaebi calls. The option to signal to attackers where those roamers are playing or where any anchors are playing that have not gone drone. But they still have that early bit of control. That shield now empty. No one can play behind it. The only presence from Wildcard Aces is now back by Piano Wall, back in the expected positions by the Office rotate. Osiris have a decent amount of time to even maybe get one kill here. Got a set of grenades remaining with Sneeze. They're opening up the Office wall. Still so much they can do.
Yeah, I mean, 3/4 of the players on Wildcard are still up on the top floor. Sneeze, he wants a gunfight, and he's gonna drop down the deputy. He was trying to dash away, but not quite fast enough. Sneeze, beautiful on the trigger, breaks the stalemate once again. Still, on the side of Wildcard, it's nice for them to have the 2 nitro cells, but those are now the only 2 operators remaining. The breach is going to open up, a plant's going to start getting flooded through, and potentially Osiris can take this lead and double it.
And this nitro from Bino, it's got to land, because if Riot even rotates back, that's any semblance of top floor pressure now gone. Sees the Osa flying in. Osiris account for it completely. They're waiting for him to peek behind that half wall. They even got the intel with the talent shield out. Riot sprinting to get into position. But everybody waiting. No, not even waiting for him to move further. Just to spray through the soft wall does it in for the Aces. 2 rounds in a row for Osiris.
Huge stuff from Sneeze. Once again, he's having his moment as Osiris are gonna be putting so much pressure on the Aces that CD has to come out.
They gotta take it.
We're not
Gotta
like
take that
contesting
tack
them early
out.
enough. If you feel what I'm saying, right? We're kind of letting them open the windows, and we're not trying to put a little bit of pressure back. That's why they're able to enter quickly and make those small plays. But Twizzler's right. We gotta play closer together. We gotta talk, just comp things, and I think we can literally play to make them clear you. Let's start with that instant pressure, shoot back at a window, fall back, and just sit there. They didn't clear anything until they got on like a bathroom window upstairs, right? And they got their ones because we're exposed to those windows. Make sure we're not exposed to silly little things like that. Keep talking, keep going. It's fine. It's Chalet defense. We get the next fine.
Yeah, we've been
Just
in the
relax.
worst positions than this right now. Let's you guys want to go down?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, let's go down. On the roam here, you guys gotta communicate and talk to each other and play with each other. Okay? Stack up on the side they go. They're extremely one-dimensional, guys. They have no flanking going on. Okay? They're all on one side of the map.
Yeah. Yep.
Find out where they are, and that's where they are.
Who the fuck do I go, bro?
Oh wait, you're Val.
I was got Mozzie. Don't worry. Stay back. Stay back.
Who the heck do I go? Anyway, obviously you see the game plan right there and some astute observations from JJ, which are generally fairly true, which is Osiris have generally been pretty one-dimensional, at least on the dining side of things, but also on the bar as well. But one big issue is that while they have been one-dimensional, they have been one-sided, it's been that opening pick that has routinely caught the Aces off guard, specifically from Fence, who has had a very good attacking half so far. He's hopped in windows, he's created new lines of sight or new avenues of rotation that has caught the Aces off guard in certain positions. So while the windows might be exposing the Aces to certain positions, they've got to make sure that awareness is there, that they're not letting Fens hop in a window or walk through a rotate hold to get an opening pick, because that is how Osiris are really putting the Aces on the back foot to start.
Yeah, because not only is Fens opening up the round so well, I mean, Sneeze is taking advantage of that space almost even better. Just taking these gunfights over and over again, just having a phenomenal game. He swapped off the sledge and is going to have an even better gun, plus a little bit more speed on him while retaining those frag grenades that we know are so crucial. Bri might be going for a bit of a spawn peek, but as everything stands for the side of Osiris, it's probably going to be a pretty bog standard attack.
Attackers recovered the defuse.
I have to imagine they'll rotate over to Wine's side now. They've used 2 Selmas on this wall, though. A lot of line of sight opened up because of the use of those 2 Selmas. They brought the Hibana to supplement that hard breach once they do go for that Wine side rotation. Do again, open up as many angles as they possibly can. Sneeze moves in very quickly. To take this space. Some ex-Kairos bounce off the wall,
That is
unfortunately.
tragic.
We'll have to... Please tell me some of them landed.
Bomb located by attackers.
Okay, some did. We're all good. Your window glass drops, or at least the mirror window's open, at a minimum. There's also 1 player on the pillar, but there's no Jaeger or Wamai present. Only 2 nades from Sneeze, sure, but if they realize that JJ is not covered by projectile denial, that's an easy pick right there.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the read wasn't proper from the side of Osiris attack to say, hey, they don't have a Warden, or pardon me, they don't have a Wamai or a Jaeger, let's bring more nades. But now as the nades are going vertically, there's not really going to be anything to just pull out a player from Pillar like we're probably going to see JJ playing. So, still up above is Bry, who seems to be just getting better positioning as time goes on. He might just become an afterthought on the side of Osiris, or they might not even know he's going for a flank or anything like that entirely. JJ on the inside of the bomb site takes a lot of damage. A sneeze, he's going to take down Twizzler, also go for another hit on the site before being traded as a flurry of kills goes back into the side of blue. But as the dust settles,
what?
It's just Riot left.
How has this happened? C4 goes out, but that's an easy kill for Fens. It's all collapsed in a matter of seconds. Osiris storm into the bomb site. JJ caught with a C4, not even in his hands, leaving his palm flying in the air. That's 5 rounds in a row total for Osiris. Not a single attack dropped. And more than that, again, was it very one-sided from Osiris? Yes, it all came from Y, and it all came from the doorway as well. But 3 rounds in a row now, it's been a quick, heads-up play that has then given them the space to work with.
Really well done from Osiris, as the timing was just so good on that time crunch where things didn't necessarily look that great. And then all of a sudden, just peaking at the right time has been just Sneeze's strong suit so far. Bio, he's 1-7, but who cares? The only score I would care about if I'm Bio is that you're 6-3 up, you're on match point, and you can send Wildcard aces down to some BO3s and make it so JJ hasn't won a non-forfeited tier 2 game.
Now he's got a lot of maps to deal with, not just one if that happens. 5 rounds in a row for Osiris, not a single attack dropped. 5 rounds in a row too, by the way, where they have got the opening pick and it has not been traded. In fact, they often get more afterwards. They're in such a great spot now, momentum-wise, strategy-wise, that even some attempts to claw it back, like Bry going for the spawn peak, doesn't bear fruit, doesn't lose his life, so it doesn't hurt them. But no easy openings. Osiris are keeping wildcard aces guessing, but more importantly, when they go for those entry duels, when they go for those picks, it's in positions that aren't telegraphed, in positions that wildcard aces need to have that awareness if they want to deal with.
Yeah, and sure, you can have the Solus on the side of Bry to maybe facilitate the utility usage to get these runouts going, like impacting away the Claymore, knowing where it is. But you also not only have Claymores, but you've got Nomads. That's what Rudy's bringing to the table. There's so much that they're going to have to deal with if they want to get aggressive on this side. And I think he's going to have to go from the interior as Bry actually fells down Snoopy. Sneeze is right next to him. I don't think he knows. And Sneeze is just in the bomb site again, Carter.
Like, hello, how has this happened? How are you leaving these openings? Sneeze has just walked on in. It's not a quick entry, but a silent death for wildcard aces. Twizzler fights back, but it's taken almost all of his HP. A wild spray, that's 2 kills. Doesn't make it 3. JJ's got to fight in a 1v2 to survive elimination and keep his pride alive. They know he's upstairs. They know he's dead and gone. 7 threes, 2 in a row, and Osiris the victor in the second best of 1 of the day.
And that was a lot faster than I would expect, and I also expected the chat to just absolutely explode as soon as this game was over. JJ's just got to take this one on the chin. I'm sure he's going to be taking a couple of licks from Bio. Let's get a Bio interview, which I really hope today we do.
We'll see if we get to talk to Bio. I'm sure, I'm not, like, literally whoever we talk to, it's going to come up. Just wait for it. Just wait. We'll get the content we are all looking for. Very good win from Osiris today. Their defenses looked, I would say, fine. Especially a very big retake in round 1. Getting them that 7-3 scoreline, as that easily could have gone a 7-4 had a few players not shown up. But they generally looked in control of this game, and that was an undeniable fact the moment they stepped on the attack. And the overall coordination was good. You know, it was solid. But, I mean, Sneeze and Fens in this game, it was an individual show-stopping performance from them as individuals, but also the team as well to set them up now that I think about it. Because you have them moving into those angles, finding openings, and in some cases it was very much an individual effort. But look at round 7 as kind of a microcosm of all the successes they did. Fens opens a hole, walks up, but it's all flashes, bullets to distract the defense from him going for that flank, going for that lurk. And that's his team setting him up, but two big players, Sneeze and Fens, they were the ones who executed it.
Oh yeah, also this was 6-round wins in a row, by the way.
Oh, you're right, it was?
Yep, it was a 3-1 lead. JJ, the deputy, blew a 3-1 lead.
You know. I don't know. I don't have something to say there.
Yeah, I know we ride JJ a lot because he kind of invites it onto himself, but hopefully once BO3s come, we can see a little bit more success coming out of those wildcard rosters. But also at the end of the day, Osiris looked so dang good today.
They did.
They adjusted properly, and that's just the experience of Bio coming out, as well as the new guns of Fens and Sneeze coming through. Sure, Fens has had a foray, a sort of slight into T2, but now this is really his biggest shot. And Sneeze, if you asked anybody about like 3 months ago who this guy is, nobody would have known.
I had no idea. Who Connor's talking about, that guy is me. I didn't know who Sneeze was. I didn't see him. Snoopy, not entirely on my radar either, though a little bit less to an extent. But this guy's coming in. I mean, he had negative stats going into the day. And Sneeze basically got as many kills today as he had through all of Element 1 in the games preceding this one. To say it was a redeeming performance, I mean, he didn't even really need to redeem himself. He just kind of needed to show up. He clocked in. He did the extra credit. He did the homework and then some. And just look at the stats. It reflects that 68% cost average across the whole team. 6 entries. Aside from 1 round, not dropping a single opening duel on the attack either, and still converting the 1 round they lost the opening duel. Doesn't get much better than that.
Oh yeah, I mean, Bry, he was the sole shining light on the side of Wildcard Aces. As once again, Riot is just struggling to adapt into this really faster paced tier 2 event. 3 and 10 from one of your entry players, it's not necessarily what you want, especially on a map such as Chalet, where the gunfights are so incredibly impactful. Right down below, if you look though, my gosh, Sneeze with a 2.0 rating. That's not something you see every day, Card.
2.0 rating and an 80% cost too. He's having the impact. It's reflected in the numbers and the percentage. Well, I guess they're all numbers, but in all different kinds of stats, 18 and 5. And then him and Fens sharing the duty with Sneeze performing big on the entry, no. But Fens would open it up, Sneeze would close it out, or make it easier in the mid round to make work. And even Bio 1 and 8. His team won 7-3, and it looked extremely convincing. And now they're in best of 3s too. Not in elimination either. They move into the promotion side of things. And I do believe Connor, maybe not ready yet. He's still we're putting his makeup on, but no, he is ready. He wants to get into it. Because I imagine Biologic has probably some things to say after that game. And of course, we'll get to the funny part at the end. But first, Bio, how are you feeling? You're in the promotion zone now.
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, got a quiet JJ. That guy loves talking.
Should we just address the elephant in the room now? I mean,
I muted him. I muted at the beginning of the game, so I know he was typing. Like, it is what it is. That guy talks more than he performs, and it shows. So.
Well, he made a big talk after he took the lead, and you guys ended up winning 6 rounds in a row, going from 3-1 to 7-3. And Connor and I were talking about this, but obviously Fens had a big performance, especially in the entries. But Sneeze with a ridiculous 2.0 rating and 18 kills, and this was a guy that wasn't really on Connor and I's radar going into Element 1. Not a player we really knew a whole lot about. Was he a player that you guys kind of found as hidden potential, or you just can't believe that nobody heard about him before?
So basically when I didn't make like the cut for SSG Academy, I knew who I wanted to play with. I wanted Fens and Arrow. And then Fens brought it up to me that there's this new guy named like Sneeze that's like an up and coming player. And I only took 1 scrim, 1 map, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta have this guy. Like he'll be the next big star of like Siege. Like he's the real deal. People give him a hard time because they hate on him or they do this, but like under me, like he'll be a future top player in this game.
And under your leadership, I think definitely probably the defining feature for this game for me was those attacks, but specifically the early round. Going back to round 7, that was the round where they had this whole setup. They have top blue, they have mezzanine, and then you just have Fens sledge open a wall, walk in with some flashes, and completely blow the whole thing wide open. Is that very quick, decisive entry part of your guys' play style, or was those just opportunities saw in the round?
Oh yeah. So for this game, you guys probably saw the scoreboard. I didn't do good, right? But I was prepping like crazy to play these guys. I was watching. I can find Vods of any team, and I'm gonna go in and prep, and especially for JJ, because JJ beat me one time in T4, and he held it over me. Like, bro, I didn't wake up in the morning to play a T4 league to beat you. I wake up to play Ubisoft events, and so he fell into the trap in the map bans. He tried to like run one over. Like, I've been doing this for a while, and then I knew their setup. Fens actually came up with the idea for the sledge thing, and then Rudy's the X factor because he knows a lot of little like cheese things. So like that take is called the Mr. B take when I was on the RTV because I thought it was the craziest thing ever. And so Rudy brought in the cap, Fens brought in the sledge, and then we just ganged that guy, and then it was smooth sailing. Like 3-3 Chalet, like we knew it was gonna go that, but the attacks I knew they had no chance. Like they did everything that I knew they were gonna do. Everything was called. They called the timeout. I knew they were gonna go basement. I knew they were gonna go back dining. Like everything was just running like a buck. They run the same stuff, but they don't have the players. Like all the players are robots. And like when you play with JJ and you have to ask him permission, how do you want to do this, that, you're not gonna win in this game, especially versus like good teams. So I mean, he's there where he's at. I mean, only reason why he's playing this match because he got a free run, right? The guys lost to like, no offense to like Slate in them, but like, come on now, like they lost to those guys. They got 1v4'd. Like, I mean, come on, man, you're not gonna make it. He got a pity invite to this. If he played quals, he wouldn't have made it. So like, let's be honest, he can't. Like, he hasn't won a game in T2 under the lights, but he loves talking. I don't know why. He's never qualified for anything. He's never qualified for a major. He's never qualified for SI. He's never done anything. He's never been to a LAN. So why is he talking to me? Of all people, why is he talking to me? But all good. It's all good. By the way, man, JJ, you're 0-3 actually, because you haven't got a real win. So you're actually 0-3. So keep it up, buddy. Keep it up.
Nobody hates like you, man. That was.
I mean,
I
don't like hating. You know, I love everybody, but when people want to talk to me, like, you know, I gotta show them up. So.
Well, I mean, that pretty much ends it. You got anything else to say, or?
I'll just say, you know, appreciate the love, appreciate the hate on Sneeze, because, you know, I'm in my boy's ear hyping him up. Thank you for Osiris for picking us up.
Shout out.
But yeah, I hope it was a good game, and I love you, Snake. You got lucky last week, so yeah.
Well, see if he gets lucky in that best of 3. We'll see if you have a good best of 3 as well. See you later, Bio. Have a good one.
Hey, have a good night.
Dude, that was S tier hating. Like
that was everything I was hoping for and more.
I like at one point, like I want to break the fourth wall a bit. At one point, I was like, all right, you know, I'll probably ask like one more question, then I'll like wrap it up. And then I realized I was like, all right, I'll wait till he's done talking. I was like, oh my god, it's been like 2 minutes, and I like didn't even think about it. I was like, wait, wow, that was next level hating. That was crazy. I don't even have words for that. Do you?
No, I was just sitting back and enjoying it because, you know, at the end of the day, people need to learn. JJ, he's new to T2. He's grinded for so long to get here, but when the rubber meets the road, things get different, and hopefully they can bounce back as they go towards that BO3 territory with even more pressure going in on their shoulders.
And not only, you know, hit the road, not only learn, maybe we will see JJ play a major since it's in North America. Maybe home field advantage. Maybe he will get some of that experience that Bio feels he is in desperate need of. Or maybe Bio will. Or maybe you will. Because after all, with our new system, you can show up, play against pro teams. If you don't want to play, you can just show up, go get tickets. They're still selling them. I'll be there. Connor will be there. Your favorite pro teams will be there from across the world. So make sure you not only tune into, you know, the NIL and EUL and Stage 2, make sure you get tickets to the Atlanta Major. But with that being said, that's it for 2 games. We got 2 more. Halfway through the day, after this break, we'll get on with our next 2. See you then.